Welcome back to the StewardShift Show. My name is Troy Solomon Levy, and I am your host. Yo, I'm so excited because we're digging into the word for this episode. We're going to Matthew 25, and we're talking about a story. You probably know about it. Most people call it the parable of the talents, but there are some versions of the Bible that say that the people who receive talents actually receive bags of money. Now, the word talent isn't talking about singing or dancing or anything like that. That word talent is actually a unit of money. So there are people who in this story received units of money or received a lot of money. And again, there are some versions of the Bible that said that they received bags of money. So I'm going to teach you today how you can get the bag, how you can improve on the bag, and what God gives you as a result of improving on your bag. Here we go.
1, 2, 3, 4.
This is StewardShift, a show that gives you the tools you need to get the most of your best resources. Your money, your mind, your body, your time.
So if you're not familiar with the story, here's how the parable goes. There's this master. This person is just extremely rich. He has so much land. He has tons of money. He has resources just out the kazoo. Like he's doing very, very well for himself. But he's about to go on a business trip and he gathers 3 of his most trusted servants. We call them stewards. And the reason why we call them stewards is because the master entrusts a piece of his property, some sort of resources to them that they're supposed to improve on as he leaves, so that when he comes back from this long business trip, that his estate isn't just sitting there not doing anything, but his estate is actually making money on top of the money that he already has. So as he gathers these 3 stewards to himself, he gives one steward 5 bags of money, probably a lot. Then he gives the second steward 2 bags of money. And the last steward, he gives 1 bag of money. And as he goes, he tells them, hey, I want you to just improve on what I'm giving you. He doesn't give any further instructions. Just, hey, do something with this. Like improve on it. Make some money on top of this money that I'm giving you. So the person with 5 bags goes and makes 5 more bags. Like he gets a lot more money. And the person with 2 bags goes and gets 2 more bags of money. And the person with 1 bag, the parable says that instead of getting more money, that he thinks to himself, hey, I don't want to really lose this. I don't want to try to invest it and lose the investment. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to dig a hole in the ground. I'm going to put my 1 bag of money in the ground. I'm just going to keep it safe. No risk at all. I'm just going to keep this safe so that when the master comes back, I can at the very least give him his money back instead of him accusing me of losing any bag of money that he's given me. So when the master comes back, he sees the 5 bag person and the 2 bag person, and he commends them. And then the 1 bag person, he does not commend them because he didn't do anything with what the master had given him. So here we go. I have 3 points about this parable that you gotta get in your spirit if you're gonna do well with the bag that God has given you. Here's the first point. It's that God has given you something. I'm just going to let that sink in right there. God has given you something. I don't care if you don't think you have much. I don't care if you compare yourself to somebody else and you say, oh man, someone's got a lot more than I have. I'm telling you right now that you, yes, you're listening to me. You're watching me. You have something that God has given you. God has entrusted you with something. You are a steward because God has given you something. Now, yeah, the reality is that some people get more and some people get less. That's the reality. You can't help what you get. Some people are born with certain advantages in life. That has nothing to do with us. That has nothing to do with you. When you were born, your family had a certain amount of money, and that has nothing to do with you. Were your parents able to give you a lot? If they were, praise God. If they weren't, hey, that is what it is. You have nothing to do with that. You can't help that. We can't help what we weren't given. We can't do anything about what we didn't get. But we can do something about what we do have. And as a steward, that's what your job is to understand that God has given you resources. Now, we can say all day, oh man, this person has more than me. And you might be right. You're probably right. So what? That's my question. What does that mean? That has nothing to do with you. Because in the grand scheme of things, all of us have a little bit. Even when the master came back, like when you read the parable, the master came back and he told the 5-talent person and the 2-talent person, hey, I gave you a little bit. So how dare we look at somebody else and say, oh man, I only got a little bit. I can't do anything with what I got. The master came back and said, oh yeah, I gave you a little bit, 5-talent person and the 2-bag person, and they did something with that little bit. Hey, here's your reward. All of us have a little bit in the grand scheme of things. So just because we don't have as much as somebody else doesn't mean anything. We all have a little bit in the grand scheme of things. And you, yes, you have something from God. The second point, and we're going to illustrate this with a little story about 2 players in the NBA. I'm a Philadelphia 76ers fan. I'm a fan for life. All my Sixers fans, you're going to understand this. But even if you're not a Sixers fan, if you love ball, if you love to hoop, if you love basketball, love to watch, you're going to understand this. There are 2 players in 76ers history. One currently plays on the team. Another one does not, but he's still in the NBA. That first person was drafted, I think in 2016, number 1 overall pick, 6'10", strong, fast, can handle the rock. Like all the talent in the world. His dad was a hooper in the NBA. Like this is who he is. He has potential, all the potential in the world. In fact, so much potential that in the first season that he played, he got Rookie of the Year. But Ben Simmons never improved on the potential that he had. All the potential in the world, but he was always one jump shot away from greatness. Even to this day, he can't shoot. And because he never learned how to shoot, yeah, even though he had all the potential in the world, he was a very skilled player. Anyone would have wanted him on their team as he had started his NBA career. But as defenses adjusted to him and knew how to handle him defensively, he was always limited, extremely limited in his own offense because he never improved on just getting that one jump shot. But there's another player, currently plays for the Sixers. Come on, Sixers, stand up. He wasn't the first overall pick. In fact, he got drafted 21st overall. Now, it's not too shabby, right? He got drafted, which means that he's a highly skilled player. All I'm saying is that he wasn't at the top of the draft. Wasn't Rookie of the Year. Matter of fact, didn't even really start much in his first season of playing ball in the NBA. But last season, Tyrese Maxey got most improved player because he didn't try to depend on his potential to give him greatness. Ben Simmons was definitely a 5-talent person. He got fought like he had it all. Tyrese Maxey was more like the 2-talent person. Very skilled, but didn't get drafted high in the draft. But because he improved, most improved player, he improved on what he had. Man, you ask anyone today, right now, anyone in their right mind would take Tyrese Maxey over Ben Simmons. Is it because of potential, lack of potential for Ben Simmons? No, absolutely not. He had all of the potential in the world. But the only difference between the person who got 5 bags of money and 2 bags of money in the parable and the person who got 1 bag of money is because they were able to improve on what they had. And so that's the second point. Here it is. God wants me to grow what he's given me. And when we compare ourselves to others, we're not able to grow. When we look at our potential and say, okay, well, I have potential, I'm going to just kind of ride this wave of potential, I guarantee you that you will not grow. And so for all of my believers out there, this is a very, very important concept because the person who received 1 bag of money had a certain conception of himself that was based on his conception of God. And I should say misconception of God. But those who had the 5 bags of money and the 2 bags of money had this conception of God. And because they saw God a certain way, they were able to see their own ability and their own potential to do well with what God had given them in a certain way as well. So here's what happened. For the 5 bag of money person and the 2 bag of money person, they believed that God had given them something to do with. They believed that God had given them something to act on. He had given them some resources to be able to do well with. Because when the master came back, they told the master, hey, master, you gave me such and such amount of bags of money, and here's how much we did with those bags of money. Now, oftentimes we just like really fast forward to how much they were able to improve on the bags of money that the master had given them. But we skip over the fact that they saw the master, they saw God as very beneficent, as someone who was able to give them something. They told the master, hey, you gave me fill in the blank. And because, master, you gave me something, I was able now to go and do something with it. But it's very interesting that the person who had one talent of money, who got the one bag of money, didn't say the same thing to the master that the 5 bag of money and the 2 bag of money person said. When the master came back, he didn't say, hey, master, you gave me such and such bags of money. He told the master, look, I know that you're hard. I know that you're unreasonable. And because I believe that about you, here's what I didn't do with the resources that you gave. Master, you are difficult because you try to reap where you haven't sowed. Master, you are difficult because you didn't give me anything, but you're expecting something from me. And because the person with 1 bag of money believed something about God, in turn, he believed something negative about himself. He believed that the master didn't give him anything. Maybe it was because of comparison. Maybe he looked at the person who had 5 bags of money and the person who had 2 bags of money, and maybe he compared his 1 bag of money to what they had. I don't know what the issue was. Maybe he thought he just didn't have any potential because the master hadn't given him as much as that. I don't know what the reason is, but we do know that he believed a lie about God. And because he believed a lie about God, he believed a lie about himself. The lie about himself was that he had no potential, that he couldn't multiply or add to what the master had given him. And because he believed that the master hadn't really given him much, he believed limiting beliefs about himself. So God is expecting us to grow what he's given us. He's given everyone something. And if we believe that about God, then we should also believe that we can grow what God has given us. So what does that mean in the practical world? Well, that means that, hey, we can't just live paycheck to paycheck. That's not growing what God has given us. We can't live under the weight of debt for the rest of our lives. That's not improving on what God has given us. We can't not live a life of not investing and purchasing a home if that's right for you, but at the very least, investing in the stock market and growing what God has given. Like literally, if we believe that God has given us something, then we should also believe that we can multiply what God has given us. So you can't sit there scared to not make more money. We can't limit our beliefs about ourselves. We can't think about ourselves, oh, I'll never make more, or I'll never be able to improve my job prospects, or I'll never have more income. That's the mindset of the 1 talent person. Oh, I'll never be able to do this. I'll never be able to do that. I'll never be able to buy a house. That's the mindset of the 1 talent person. But if you believe that God is giving you something, then you also believe that you can grow and multiply what God has given you. So God doesn't just expect from us high responsibility, but God rewards us very highly for being a good steward of the resources that he's given me. And that's the third point. God rewards us for being good stewards. Now, yes, of course, this is just a very human concept. Like this is how the world works. When you do well with something, you get rewarded for doing well. And God works the same way. So when the master came back, and as he dealt with those 3 stewards of his, he tells the first 2, the one with the 5 bags of money and the one with the 2 bags of money, he said, look, because you've done well with what you've been given, I'm going to now give you so much more than what you had made for me. Like I'm giving you more. and more and more. I'm giving you more stuff, and I'm giving you more money. I'm giving you more income. I'm giving you more land. I'm giving you more car. Like, they legit received more from God. But what if the master doesn't just give us more stuff, but he gives us something that's even more important than stuff? Because the reality is that there are people in the world who may or may not be believers, who have done well for themselves. They've improved on the potential that they've gotten, that they've received from God. Whether they acknowledge it being from God or not, that doesn't matter to me. That's for God to deal with. That's his story to tell. But for believers, there's something more that we get from God that has nothing to do with more stuff. I would love more cars and more homes and more land. I love all of that. And I'm praying for all of that just for you. So what if the master didn't just give the 5 bags of money person and the 2 bags of money person more stuff? What if he gave them something much more and more important than just more stuff? So as we read through the story, he says, yes, I'm giving you more because you did well with what I gave you. And then he gives them this reward. He said, enter now into the joy of your Lord. The most important thing that the master gives us isn't just more stuff, but the master gives us more joy to go along with that stuff. Because what if we had more stuff, but we had less joy? I don't want that. What if we had more stuff, more money, but we had less fulfillment? I don't want that life. But to go along with the more stuff that the master gives us as a reward for being a good steward, the master also gives us more joy to go along with it. So imagine having better relationships. Imagine being joyful as you go to work. Imagine being having a joyful marriage, having more joy in your relationship with your children. Like, imagine having more joy. And by the way, this isn't to say that we don't want more stuff or don't need more stuff. Yeah, I'll take the more stuff. But at the end of the day, if my life isn't fulfilled by having more stuff, then I don't want just more stuff. I want the more stuff as a reward, but I also want the more joy from the master. So here's my challenge to you. Number 1, understand that God has given you something. Number 2, understand that God wants you to grow that thing that he's given you. But when you grow what you have, understand that God is going to give you the reward that surpasses any other reward that we could ever find on this earth. Just understand that God is going to give you a reward that's greater than any other reward that God could ever give anyone on the face of this earth. So get it. You have exactly what you need to make financial progress right now.